show you, and you would convert it to your state, the information. Okay. Now, the purpose of you learning this UCC is because you want to understand the difference between an assigner and an assignee. Okay, I make this clear every time we talk about the UCC because the more we talk about it, the more we can learn. Okay, the UCC assignee is you. Okay, you are the payee, assignee. Anything with an E on the end of it is considered you. The payor is the banker, the mortgage company, or the debtor. Anybody that's besides you. Your straw man could be the debtor, so that could be the debtor. But your secure party name, your last name, first name, and middle name would be the assignee or the payee. All right. Now, understanding how the UCC is set up is going to be very important because when you guys is trying to fill out your UCCs for whatever the situation is, because whether it's to a bill or to a purchase agreement or to basically reclaim your bonds and your assets. All right. These financial statements are used for these three different things mainly. All right. These financial statements, okay, like I was telling everybody in the first class, that they need to be sent to your state treasurer. So when you file your UCCs, you make sure that you file your UCCs and you send the acknowledgement to the state treasurer. You can always go online and download a copy of your UCC after you file it. You don't necessarily have to send the UCC to you because whoever you filing the lien against, they do not have any acknowledgement of it because you didn't send the acknowledgement to them. So make sure that if you file the UCC on the bill collector, someone that's collecting the bill from you, make sure that you send the UCC to them so they know that you have the lien against them. I apologize. 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. I got to open this door.
Got something to drink, by the way. We got some drink. Say what? You want to get some for what?
Okay, thank you, family. Apologize for that delay. Now, tonight, basically, I want to get into the UCC and I want to show you guys several things you can do. One of the things we want to learn how to do with the UCC is learn how to file it on our mortgage situations. Okay? Some of us have what we call warehouse receipts. So we have a much grander, how can I say? We have a much more broader issue when it comes to our assets. For example, the warehouse receipt or the authenticated document that you have, whether it's a birth certificate, marriage license, naturalization, or et cetera. The MLS number, which I talked about before, has a bunch of mortgage companies or a bunch of homes underneath it, which is an issue that we need to get familiar with because we want to raise this issue. Because the assets underneath these serial numbers, underneath the MLS number, is attached to your certificate of live birth. So if you want to call it, I would like to call it a settlement certificate because we want to stop using the terminology birth certificate. So when we file our UCCs on for the record, we want to, instead of using the birth certificate, let's use the word settlement certificate. Because canon law 325, section 3347, says that the birth certificate is a settlement certificate held by the bondsman. We are the bondsman when we turn it into a bond. See, this thing is based on bondage. And you are in bondage if you don't know how to become a bondsman and free yourself from becoming in bondage by coming back and claiming in the assets or claiming the bonds. When you claim these bonds, you claim these bonds via UCC. This is one of the perfect best ways to claim these bonds. What it is, it's a perfected security interest that you have in the asset. It shows that you have a perfected security interest in the asset. This is the reason why the financial statement is so important when you are doing your process. Someone please mute their mic. I don't know who mic that is. Kimberly Best. Sister, please mute your mic.
Try to
Okay.
mute that.
No, that's not you, sister. So 347-645-9000. Who that is?
That's me, Mo.
Okay, who that? That's Moby?
Yeah. How you
Mute your mic. There should be a button. You should see a microphone icon. Just press it. So moving forward, this is how we want to know, and this is how we want to understand the UCC. Okay, this is how we want to understand the UCCs. So Zillow, Redfern, and several other mortgage companies, I want you guys to start thinking about filing financial statements against them, especially if your MLS number have homes underneath them that you locate and you find out the mortgage company that's holding the asset for you as a custodian, you want to go back and reclaim that asset that's held for you underneath your MLS number. And the best way to do that is by putting a lien against the MLS number for all property that's underneath the MLS number to return back to you in escrow. And this is why I tell you guys to open up escrow accounts, get your escrow accounts going, because it's going to come in handy when you start doing your business and reclaiming your assets and having everything returned back to you if you do it properly. Okay? So again, the UCC1, we want to make sure that when we file the UCC1, the assignee, you go on the secure party spot. All right, I'm going to show you what it looked like, but I want to talk to you about it verbally. You go in a secure party spot in the UCC1 because you are what? The assignee. You are the one that's telling everyone what to do. Okay, you do not, I repeat, you do not put your name on the UCC3 in a secure party box. You do not put your name there. Anyone that tell you to do that don't know what they're doing. They're filing the UCC wrong. Okay, who goes there? The company that you have a problem with goes there because they become the secure party assignor. If you read the fine print, the way I showed you guys, it tells you the difference between the assignee and the assignor. The assignee is the one that's making the assignment. The assignor is the one that has to execute the assignment. So if you want the mortgage company, the bill collector, or the person that you're doing business with to execute the assignment, then you must make them a party to it on the UCC3 while you are party to it on the UCC1. Now, you don't necessarily have to put them on the UCC3, but you should put them on the UCC3 because it's called amended. All right? But you can do all this in the UCC1. You can attach your secure party assignee and assigner all through your UCC1s, and I'm going to show you. Now, the components of the UCC1, we have the UCC1, we have the UCC addendum, and we have the UCC additional party. I'm going to show you on the UCC1 how you can use it, the addendum, how it's used, and then I'm going to show you the additional party, how it's used. You can basically, within them three documents, secure your lien against the debt collector. You can secure your lien against the mortgage broker. You can secure your lien against the security broker, the security intermediary. All right? We are dealing with securities intermediaries. All right? I want to keep that in mind. We are dealing with securities intermediaries. Now, we did some of you have authenticated documents, okay? Now, your authenticated documents are authenticated, so you're backed by full faith and credit. You have power to do the things that you need to do. Those that have warehouse receipts, which means that you took your authenticated document to the Secretary of State of New York, and your document was turned over to the document was turned into Division of License Service, okay? And when you turn the document in to Division of License Services, they stamped your document and gave it back to you. When they stamped that document and gave it back to you, it became what you call a warehouse receipt, okay? The warehouse operator is the Secretary of State, okay? So the warehouse, when you turn this authenticated document that's backed by full faith and credit into the Secretary of State, and she's in the Division of License Service Department, and they stamped it and gave it back to you, it became a warehouse receipt. Now, if you look at the definition or look at Wikipedia, this publicly Google warehouse receipt, you would see what it says. A warehouse receipt is the transfer power of ownership to the bailee under the UCC 7-104, or 102, excuse me, 102, section A1. It tells you the bailee is a warehouse receipt in the name of the bearer. So if you're the bearer means the name on the security. You are entitled, you are the holder in due course. Now to enforce the contract by way of assignment through a lien, okay? Through a lien. So we're gonna go over some of the UCC codes. You guys are gonna write your UCC codes, and as you write your UCC codes, you will use them according to your personal situation, all right? So let's go, let me share my screen, and let me show you how these UCCs look so you can understand the verbiage, which is very important. Let me see if I can get the hang of this. Share my entire screen. Okay. Can anyone see my screen? Has the UCC come up?
Yes.
Good. Now, again, you are the first debtor. Always understand that. And when I say you are the first debtor, let me rephrase that. Your straw man is the first debtor, your first, middle, and last name. Not you. You are the last, first, and middle name. Okay? Look at your ID. So when people call you by your first, middle, and last name, you are out of pocket if you answer yes and you accept that and say that that's who you are. If you make noise and say that's who you are, then you're out of pocket. And you definitely got caught in the game of Monopoly. But again, in New York, when we fill out our UCCs, they ask for the type of jurisdiction, type of organization. You want to put 15 USC trustee. Okay? You also got United States. You got jurisdiction organization. And you put United States. Always put United States, or you could put United States of America. I put United States because it's DC. They're responsible for all debt, so I just put United States. Usually in all capital letters too. Now, this is you. What is that noise, sister Empress?
There's probably somebody entering in the room if it's the doorbell. Maybe somebody either entering or leaving.
Yeah. I mean, you the host, you see everything on your end.
Yeah, no, I'm showing this widget call. I just hear the bell going off. But okay, so right here, organizational ID is your back of your social. Why is that important? Because the back of your social will attach you to your Federal Reserve Bank. That's your organizational ID number, but it's private, so they're going to redact it. But that's the number that you put back there so you can attach to your Federal Reserve Bank. So if you plan on using your Federal Reserve Bank, your financial statement, which is a perfected security interest, coincide with your actions. A lot of you haven't put your back of your Federal Reserve to your social card on to your financial statements and send it to the Federal Reserve Bank or system, which means that not only we can send send our UCCs to the state treasurer, you can also send your UCC directly to the Federal Reserve Bank or the Board of Governors. We'll talk more about that coming up, but the Board of Governors. Now, the second debtor that we're looking into, the second debtor will actually be the mortgage company, the car company, or the bill collector. They will be considered the securities intermediary. Okay, they're dealing with your security. Your security is anything that's attached to the social. Your social is a letter. Your social is a credit card, right? And it's when you put it on the application becomes what you known as a letter of credit, and they become the security intermediary for the securities because the letter of credit turns into a security. Same thing with your mortgage. It's a mortgage-backed security. Your settlement certificate is an asset-backed security. So there is a security intermediary involved. We must locate the security intermediary, put them on notice by way of assignment to start the transaction of a secure transaction under Article 9. Again, you want to put the same thing for them, 15 USC trustee. Again, jurisdiction, United States. And then you put the mortgage company national MLS number. You could definitely find that. These companies or these brokers have national numbers. They have personal identification numbers, or the EIN number will go here in the organizational box. Everyone should file UCCs in New York. It's a universal hub. So this UCC does pertain to you because once you file in your state, you want to file it in New York. And you might have heard that before. Now, on this UCC, again, we got the assignee, okay? And like I told you on the UCC 1, you are the assignee. Last name, first name, middle name, very important, assignee. Now, you go here into the codes, and as we go into the codes, we start understanding what the codes are saying. The codes start talking to them. So you must understand these codes, know what box to check. Now, we go down here to box 5. Now, you got lessor, lessee, lessee or lessor. You got a consignee or consignor. You got bailee or bailor, sellor, buyer, AG lien, or non-UCC filing. Now, if you have a warehouse receipt, and I'm going to get to that clarification on that because a lot of people don't have clarification, but I'm going to show you. If you have a warehouse receipt, you want to check bailee or bailor, and I'm going to show you why. So you check bailee or bailor if you have the warehouse receipt. A financial statement is what? A perfected security interest. So if you have a warehouse receipt, by checking this box, it shows that you have a perfected security interest over the warehouse receipt. All right? Very important. Now, if it's a mortgage, you want to put seller and buyer. Okay? You can put seller and buyer. It's a contract between the seller and buyer. The seller is you, the original creditor. The buyer is the mortgage company. Or you can reverse it if you're talking about the straw man. All right? But when you put yourself in this position, it allows you to cancel the debt. And I'll talk to you more about that later. An agricultural lien definitely could be used for a mortgage. It's a universal lien, but it's, you have farm and you have acres of land, you definitely want to put the agricultural lien in. A non-UCC filing is a private UCC filing. It's private. All right? Now, the financial statement is to be filed on the record or recorded. Estate records. Attach addendum. So if you check this box and you attach addendum, that's what it will be done. It will be done. Now it says 7, check request and search report on all debtors, additional, all debtors. So you want to check the request search reports on all debtors. You check this. So even you want to do a research on yourself, and 9 times out of 10, there's nothing going to come back on you. All right? Now, let's get into the scope of things so we can understand how this goes. Now I just switched my screen. Can everybody see my screen switch?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
The other one. All right. Now, you want to know the best way to approach this process. You want to know what to do and what not to do. Okay, you want to know what to do and what not to do. Now, this is 9. We're going to dealing with secure transaction because I want you guys to get familiar with this. This is the scope. General scope of article, except otherwise provided in subsection C and D. This article applies to a transaction regarding to its form, creates a security interest in personal property, which is your mortgage, or fixtures by contract. Okay, if you got a contract by somebody, or fixtures by contract, which is your mortgage. 2, agricultural lien. 3, a sale of accounts, chattel paper, payments tangible, or promissory notes. A consignment. And 5, a security interest arising under section 2-401, 2-505, 2-711.3, or 2A5085 as provided in section 910. And 6, a security interest arising under section 4210 and 5-18. Now, what that mean? They're telling you that the general scope, except otherwise provided in subsection C or D, this article applied to these following things. So if you read the 6 things, this article is applied to these 6 things, okay? But now let's go down to B. Okay, B says security interest and secure obligation. The application of this article to security interest in a secure obligation is not affected by the fact that an obligation itself is secured by a transaction or interest to which the article does not apply, okay? Now, C and D is going to be very important because it's going to show you how to maneuver through the UCC. Okay? C, to the extent which article does not apply. This article does not apply to the extent that a statute, regulation, a treaty, some people try to use treaties, of the United States preempts this article. 2, another statute of the state expressly governs the creation, perfections, priority, or enforcement of the security interest created by this state or governmental unit of this state, right? 3, a statute of another state for a foreign country, a governmental unit, another state or a foreign country, other than the statute generally applicable to the security interest, expressly governs creation, perfections, priorities, enforcements, or security interests created by the state, country, or governmental unit. 4, the rights of a transferee, beneficiary, or nominee person under the letter of credit are independent and superior under section 514. So under this section, it does not apply, but under 514, you can do it. Okay? We're not going to go into 514 yet because it's not the, what you call it. Look at this. Now, D, an applicability of the article. This article does not apply to a landlord's lien. So if you're doing a landlord lien, Article 9 does not apply to it, other than if you do it as an agricultural lien. Now, so when you file a lien on your landlord, you should put AG, an agricultural lien, because it says, 1, a landlord lien, other than an agricultural lien. Watch the double talk. A lien, number 2, a lien other than an agricultural lien given by the statutes or other rules of law for service or materials. But section 333 applies to with respect to the priority of a lien. Now let's go to section 333 because it's saying, but section 333 applies with respect to the priority of a lien. So if we want to put a lien on somebody, we want to write this code down. This lien applies to this such and such company according to the code, UCC code 9333. And let's look what 9333 says. Oh, a possessory lien. In this section, a possessory lien, an interest other than a security interest or an agricultural lien. So if you don't check the agricultural lien on your UCC, then you want to put the word possessory lien on your financial statement, because if your UCC doesn't fall under agricultural lien, you want to check agricultural box. But if it's a lien, you want to put possessory lien. Why? Because you still have an interest. Remember 9-333. And people that know the powers of 369s, you already know anything that's dealing with these numbers is a whole weight. So the 9-333. Now, 1, with secure payment of performance. Now, look what this possessory lien does. 1, which secure payments or a performance of an obligation for service. Now, don't the mortgage company provide a service for you? Anyone that provides a service for you, they fall under possessory lien. Or materials furnished with respect to the goods. The goods is the settlement certificate, the marriage certificate, the naturalization certificate, your state ID, your social security card. These are goods by a person in the ordinary course of the person business. Don't we use our state IDs in the ordinary course of a business, our settlement certificates, our social security cards and numbers in the ordinary course of business? So why would we don't put an agricultural lien deal with land? We don't put an agricultural lien on our social security. 2, which is created by statute or rule of law in the favor of a person. And 3, which is effectiveness depends on the person possession of the goods. So 3, whose effectiveness depends on the person of the good. If you have the authenticated document, you are the superior title holder, document title holder. If you have a warehouse receipt, not only are you the superior title holder, you have the right to now make the transfer of the property because of the ownership being the holder in due course of the goods. So do you see how 9-333 apply to you? 1, 2, and 3 applies to you? So understand how this works. The priority of a possessory lien. A possessory lien on goods has priority over security interest. It has priority over a security interest in the goods unless the lien is created by a statute that expressly provides otherwise. So if you want the priority over the security interest, then you want to look at the possessory lien. This is the code that you need to put on your UCCs. They're not teaching you this nowhere. The code breaker, Lord Ausar, we're bringing this information to you guys 2025 so you guys can have this information and now move forward with your process. All right, so we're going to go back out of this and we're going to come back because we're looking at the scope. Now, this is inapplicable to the article. Remember, all these things do not apply, but Section 9333 tells you how does it apply to a priority of a lien. And 9333 talks about the possessory lien, but if you would have never pressed on 9333, you would have never knew about a possessory lien because most people talk about what? The agricultural lien. Okay? Assignment on claims of wages and salaries. So your transcript says income and wages. Do not put an assignment on your transcript for income and wages. It says it right here in number 3. We got to straighten this out now. It says it right here in number 3. Do not put an assignment on your transcript under wages and income. It will not work. Salary will not work. Compensation of employee will not work. This explains, to a certain degree, number 4, the sale of accounts. Well, we don't sell our accounts. The sale of chattel paper, the sale of payment intangibles, or a promissory note, a sale of a promissory note as part of a sale of a business out of which it arose. So another business can't sell me no promissory note. It won't apply under Article 9. You can't sell me payment tangibles, chattel paper, accounts. It don't apply. 5, an assignment of accounts, chattel papers, payments, or promissory note. So again, do not put an assignment on a promissory note. Some people have said we're going to file UCCs on the promissory note. No. You don't need to do that. The promissory note is already what it is. It's a secretary note. The secretary note goes along, is attached to the warehouse receipt. I'm going to show you where the promissory note is a secretary note so you understand how deep this is and how much the Secretary of State holds power over our straw man assets in the state you're in. Every company has a CEO, a secretary, and an employee. Your secretary is the secretary of the state. Number 7, an assignment of a single account payment tangibles promissory note assignee in full or partial satisfaction of pre-existing indebtedness. Okay, so we do not want to fall underneath these terms, but I'm going to show you something. Look at this: a transfer of interest in or an assignment of a claim under a policy of insurance. We don't want to do that. Not an insurance policy, other than an assignment by or a healthcare provider or a healthcare insurance receivable, right? Any subsequent assignment of the right to payment. But Section 315 and 322 apply with respects to proceeds and the priority in proceeds. Now, what do you think that means? When I read that, the first thing that came to my mind, the possessory lien over the proceeds. The priority of a lien, the priority over a security interest is the possessory lien. It has more priority over the security interest. Now, I'm not worried about the wages and income. I'm worried about the proceeds from the wages and income. Because 315 and 9322 says I'm allowed with respects to the proceeds and the priority in the proceeds. So you got to read the code, but you got to understand what they're saying. But it just telling you otherwise. Again, we go down to 9, an assignment of the right respect of a judgment other than a judgment taken in the right to payment that was a collateral. Okay, again, an assignment of a right with respect to a judgment other than a judgment taken on the right to payment that was a collateral. So it had to be a judgment of collateral. 10, a right of recoupment or a set-off. So we can set off debt. It's in the code. The word set off is in the code. I haven't seen the terminology yet accepted for value. I haven't seen that terminology yet accepted for value. I've seen accept, I've seen for value, but I haven't seen it together. If you have found that code, please let me know. 10A, Section 340 applies with respect to the effectiveness of rights of recoupment or set off against a deposit account. Look at 340. I showed you what 9333 is, but now let's look at 340. These are the hidden codes that should go on your coupons, that should go on your UCCs. Effectiveness of the right of a recoupment or set off against a deposit account. Except otherwise provided in subsection C, a bank will respect which a deposit account is maintained may exercise any right or recoupment or set off against a secure party that holds a security interest in the deposit account. So banks can go at secure parties. Look at B. Recoupment of a set off not affected by a security interest. Except otherwise provided in subsection C, the application of this article to a security interest in a deposit account does not affect a right of recoupment or set off of the secure party as a deposit account maintained with the secure party. Now let's look what C say. When set off is ineffective, the exercise by a bank of a set off against a deposit account is ineffective against a secure party that holds a security interest in the deposit account, which is perfected by a security control under 9104A3. If the set-off is based on the claim against the debtor. Okay, let's look at this. 9104, what it said, A3. A secure party becomes the bank customer with respects to the deposit account. Now, your last name, first name, middle name is the secure party. The customer is your first, middle, and last name. The secure party becomes a bank customer with respect to the deposit account. The customer, the debtor, the straw man has the deposit account. The secure party is the one with the interest in the deposit account for the customer. Always remember, the customer is the one that gives them the social security number to open up the account. Usually the first, middle, and last name. Okay? A debtor right. Oh, I don't want to skip 9. Let's go. 2, a debtor, a secure party, and the bank have agreed in the authenticated record, which is the documents we have, that we authenticated backed by full faith and credit, that the bank will comply with instructions originated by the secure party. Where's your assignment? You didn't, as a secure party, you didn't give the bank no instructions. You got to give them a chance to comply. If they don't comply, then you get them in default. Directing disposition of the funds into a deposit account without further consent by the debtor. 3, the secure party becomes the bank customer with respect to the deposit account. And B, the debtor right to direct disposition. A secure party that has satisfied, subsection A has control, even if the debtor retains the right to direct the disposition of funds to a deposit account. So again, you're going to see through the UCCs and the codes that you have to have control. And that's what we want to come in. You want to come in with control. So you see how 340 took me somewhere. It took me to 9104 A1, but we all started from what? The scope. 9-109, we started from the scope. Now we go back down to the scope because we went into what code was that again? We went into 340, right? That's 333 right there. And then the second code we went into was 340 right here, 10A. Now, it says section A, 349, 340 applies with respect to the effectiveness of the right to recoupment of the set-off against deposit account. Section 9404 applies with respect to defenses or claims of a deposit account. So if you're making a claim, you should be looking at 9-104, the rights acquired by assignee. The rights acquired by an assignee, claims and defenses against an assignee. So here you will see the rights of an assignee. Let me speed this up a little bit. So you read these codes. Now, one code, number 11, the creation or transfer of the interest in the lien, or lien on real property, including a lease or rent thereunder, except to the extent that provision is made for. Now, look what it's saying you can't do this for. On rents, if you have an apartment, it says the creation or transfer of an interest in lien on real property, including lease or rents thereunder, except to the extent the provision is made for. Liens on real property in section 203 and 9308. Okay, fixtures. This would come to rents, leases, and real property. Except. So it's giving you A, B, and C. You have to look up these things, these codes. If you have rents, and okay, for example, let's look at the fixtures. Let's see what fixtures say. Because we check fixtures or fixture filings on our UCC. The priority of a security interest in fixtures and crops. That's why it's not fixtures, it's fixture filings. But this is if you have farmland. You have acres, you want to do fixtures. Because it starts talking about crops. Let me get out of here. Let's go to fixture filings. C, 5-9, let's see. Filing office, except otherwise provided in subsection B, if the local law office of the state governs perfection of a security interest or an agricultural lien, the office in which to file a financial statement to perfect the security interest or agricultural lien is the office designated for the filing or recorded for a record of a mortgage on the related real property. So wherever the mortgage is, you want to file a UCC in that state, and you want to record that UCC in that county where the mortgage is located. All right, that's what it's telling you in so many words. The collateral of as extracted collateral or timber to be cut, or the B, the financial statements to be filed as a fixture filing, and the collateral is goods that are to become fixtures. So B will be what you will file it on because the fixture filing is the collateral is goods. The goods is our assets. So we meet the requirement. Again, now this is where I wanted to come to because this is what I wanted to talk about. Again, and get into, we at the end. 12, an assignment of claim arising in a tort. Assignment of claim arising in a tort. Other than a commercial tort claim, but section 9315 and 9322 apply to respects of proceeds and the priorities in the proceeds. But let's press on commercial tort claim. 13, commercial tort claim means a claim arising in the tort with respect to which the claimant is an organization, your trust. B, the claimant is an individual, you. And the claim, subsection 1, arise in the course of claimant business or profession. 2, does not include damages or arise out of a personal injury or to the death of an individual. So you meet the requirement of a commercial tort claim. You meet the requirement of the commercial tort claim. Okay? Now, an assignment to the deposit account in which the consumer transaction, but 9315 again, 9322 applies with respect to the proceeds and the priorities in proceeds. So when you look at the UCC that I filed, I'm talking to them in the codes. For this entitlement order as a holder, I have a security interest in the proceeds pursuant to 9315 and 9322. You see that in the first line. Located, you put the address. For the straw man, for the value and the amount, I have perfected the document and title pursuant to 9310. And you look up what 9310 is. And as such, I'm entitled to collect the collateral according to 939-607. You look up 9607. And it says, I have the right to redeem the collateral, UCC 9623, ABC, and UCC 9-605 too. You look it up. Therefore, this in the last class, I was going through the codes step by step so you can see what they actually mean, because the codes is what talk to them. Therefore, this financial statement is governed by UCC 9-313A. I'm directing the disposition of funds in the deposit account without further consent by a secondary debtor. UCC 9-104A2. We just read that. If any debt arises from the account debtor in box 1, then the debtor in box 2 will be responsible for the debt. UCC 9-404. This is the assignment. This financial statement remains effective indefinitely under UCC-9502. Pursuant to UCC-8503 with respects to a particular financial asset under subsection A, pro rata, property, interest, and all interest in financial assets held by a securities intermediary. As the entitlement holder UCC 8-102.7 of the financial asset UCC 8-102.93, the coupon will be endorsed pursuant to UCC 8-501, AB 1, and 31 USC 328. That's forms of endorsement, how it's going to be endorsed. Now, the warehouse receipt provides proof of ownership of the commodity. The negotiable warehouse receipt allows transfer of ownership of the commodity without having delivery of the physical commodity. Pursuant to UCC 7, document entitled Asset-Backed Security for the Mortgage-Backed Security, or UCC 7-104A, which is a negotiable instrument by way of Canon Law Article 325, Section 3347 Settlement Certificate. So you're showing them in this assignment that you're using your settlement certificate to take care and handle all debt. But they got to read the codes. The lawyer going to read the codes to understand exactly what you're saying. All right? Now, that's the UCC 1. Now we at the UCC addendum. Again, understand what's going on here. Okay? Let's go from the top 9, the name of the first debtor. Okay? So the name of the first debtor, you will go here in 9, 9A, because you are the first debtor in box 1. Oh, excuse me, let me move this. I'm going to skip no parts. Right? Now it says box 10, debtor, name, 10A or 10B. Only one additional debtor, name, can go in 10A or 1B. So if you have another debtor, you want to put them here. All right. So now it's usually the company you put in the UCC 1 because it's the company. But then if you know the CEO of the that's running the company, the person name, then you want to put their name pretty much here. But now you're making it personal for them. Right? You can still put the same company address that you did in number 1, but now you got the person name. So for example, I got Fidelity, but then I put a lien against the broker, the custodian manager. Now, number 11 is where you get your get back. All right? So any company that you have a beef with, any company that you want to pay, we want them to accept your assignment, and you're making a payment to them, a legal tender payment. And you say to them on this UCC, you're making a legal tender payment. You want them to accept your assignment. Number 11 is where you put the company at. You know what I'm saying? And it's usually, I'm gonna say this. Debtor, I like to make this clear. Debtor in y'all leave here tonight, you will be straight. Trust me. So debtor in UCC company, debtor in box 2. UCC 1 company, debtor in box 2. Should I, you know what? No, I ain't gonna say box 2 because that's gonna confuse people. Second debtor. How about that? Second debtor. All right. Second debtor. All right, now. Second debtor from UCC 1. I like it like this better. Hold on. Okay, second debtor from UCC 1. That's very clear. Fifth grader can understand this. And then you check this box right here, signer. Okay? Now, look what it says here, Title 15, 78C, Section 79. That's asset-backed securities. You read it. We're dealing with asset-backed securities here, okay? Now, all debt are to be ceased, all debt are to cease collections by dispute 15 USC 1692B. And what 1692B says, a consumer shall owe no debt. Let's see if I can go to it because I like to show you better than I can tell you so you can see this for your own self. So if you are the consumer of the contract, 15 USC 1692B, Section 2. Acquisition of location. Your 1099As have acquisition on it also. So pay attention. 15 USC 1692B, acquisition of location information. Your home is the location. Okay? Any debt collector communicating with any person other than the consumer for the purpose of acquiring location information about the consumer shall, 1, identify himself, the state that he is confirming or correcting location information concerning the consumer, and only if expressly request identify his employer, right? 2, not state that such consumer owes any debt. So you want to use the word consumer. Write this down. You want to use the word consumer when you're communicating with these people. So as they try to fraud you out of your money by way of contract, you can come and sue them based on 15 USC 1692B acquisition of location, subsection 2, not state the consumer owe any debt. And you see that on the current UCC here, which I'm showing you guys. Okay? 1692B, subsection 2. 15, then I do Title 15, 1692I. Let me show you how to walk them down in the walk. This is how you talk to them in code. This is the code breaker. This is how you talk to them in codes. You don't argue with these people. You got to talk legalese to them so they can send it to their back office and they say you have to move. Legal actions by debtors. Pay attention. Okay? And this is I subsection B. Okay? I subsection B. Let's see what I subsection B say. B. Nothing in this chapter shall be construed to authorize the bringing of any legal action by debt collectors. Do you guys see this shit? These people are taking you to court illegally. These debt collectors are filing foreclosures on us illegally. And Title 15, by the way, if you didn't know, is the Truth in Lending Act. They are violating us through the Truth in Lending Act, but because we wasn't taught this in school, and we don't know the codes, and we don't know how to communicate, which preparation is very important, they are taking advantage of us by way of lack of knowledge. But you have the knowledge now, because you have the UCC. I'm giving it to you. I didn't charge you $10,000 or $1,500 for this. You're screenshotting it now. Continuing. Therefore, the financial fee is the sum of all charge. 15 USC 1605. The finance fee is the sum of all charge. What are they talking about here? What was that, 1605? Go back and check it. 1605A. Okay? So we go to 1605A and look what it say. Finance charge for consumer credit transaction. Can you see this, everyone? Come on, is everybody there? Anybody there? Come on, talk to me. I know you're important, but
Yeah.
come on, stay
Yeah,
simple.
I see that consumer.
Okay, because look, I just explained to you this. I just showed you where it says consumer shall owe no debt, right? Now look at this. Except otherwise provided in this section, the amount of the finance charge in connection with any consumer credit transaction shall determine as the sum of all charges. You already made a transaction with the company. You already paid them. It was paid at closing.
Wow.
It was paid at closing. So I just showed you 3 codes under Title 15, the Truth in Lending Act, that you file on your UCC to hammer these mother. And you know the rest. They hammer these crooks. They are playing with us because we don't know the codes. But I'm showing you the codes tonight. Yep, I sure am. Lord Ausar is showing you the codes tonight. Let's go. The consumer is the original creditor. 15 USC 1602. You'll never see nobody break it down the way I'm breaking it down. ladies and gentlemen. All right, look at this. The consumer is the original creditor, 15 USC 1602. Let's go to this code. Credit card. Interesting. You are the credit card. You are the credit card. Let's go here. G, the term credit refers only to a person with both regularly extends with the connection with loans, your mortgage, sales of property or services, bills, or otherwise consumer credit, which is payable by agreement in more than 4 installments. After 4 payments, they're not supposed to, what are they doing after 4 payments? You see it in the code right here.
Wow.
4 installments, or for which the payments of the finance charge is or may be required, and to the person whom the debt arises from the consumer credit transaction is initially payable on the face of evidence of indebtedness. Let's keep going. It says, there is no such evidence of indebtedness by agreement, notwithstanding the proceedings sentence in which the case is the open-end credit plan. Ain't your Social Security an open-end credit plan? Involving a credit card. That's why they don't take your Social Security card. The card issuer and any person who honors the credit card and offers a discount, which is a finance charge, are creditors for the purpose of the requirement imposed under Part D of the subchapter and sections. Now, they are creditors, but you are the original creditor, consumer, original creditor. And I'm going to show you that in the codes. As we go through these codes, you're going to see it. So you remember what I'm saying. But this is being recorded, so it's all good. Now, let's go to the next one. G, right? 1602G, and can make payments by way of coupon. Let's get it now. Your coupons are your bills. You got to rip it off and not endorse it. 15 USC 1602, Section L. I'm showing you in the codes how to pay these bills. Coupons. If that's 1602 Section L, I think it was Section L. Oh yeah, it's Section L. Look what L say. The term credit card means any card, plate, coupon book, or any other credit device existing for the purpose of obtaining money, property, labor, or services on credit. What is a coupon book? The coupon book is what they hold. They rip the coupon out the coupon book and send it to you. That's your security. Because you're the bearer of the security. You must learn how to endorse it according to 328.5. You could turn it to a book entry security, or you could just turn it for redemption and send it back to them. To who? To the indentured trustee, the security intermediary of the contract. I'm showing you right here in the UCC how to break their ass down. All debts are the responsibility of a remittance transfer provider. 15 USC 6, Section 1693O, Section 1. Let me just go to it. This is why I'm so important. It's so important for you, and I go so hard on the codes for us to learn them, because once you learn the codes, now you can get remedy. If you can't, you don't know how to talk to them, then they don't know what you're talking about. If this is, what is all this shit? This is about a remittance payment. It's about a remittance transfer. And you must know the code to remittance payments and remittance transfer. And you must find the remittance address. Very important. You must find the remittance address. Look what it says. Huh? Look what it says. Okay, what's the code? Because I know I put a specific subsection 1. Okay. And what one say? Each remittance transfer provider. You see me just put that transfer provider. Learn how to use their words. Each remittance transfer provider shall make disclosure as required under this section and in accordance with the rules prescribed by the Bureau. Disclose required under this section shall be in addition to any other disclosure applicable under this subchapter. They didn't disclose that that you paid in full the property assignment. They didn't disclose where's the note and the mortgage is inseparable. Where's it at? There's a lot of things they didn't disclose. So the disclosure part of your contract, they violated all the way through. All right? The disclosure part of your contract, they violated. At the time in which the sender requests a remittance transfer to be initiated and prior to the sender making any payment in connection with the remittance transfer. Did you see this? Somebody, don't let nobody tell you can't make a remittance payment. And you can't do a remittance transfer because they don't read or understand the codes or haven't came across it. It says it right here. So if you wanted to learn about remittance, you read this whole thing. I don't want to go into, I'm going to cut time because I could read the whole thing, but I'm going to cut time. All right? This is for your remittance payments. Okay? Now, moving forward. Therefore, all debt collectors are to cease collections for the violation 15 USC 1692H. Now, let's go to 15 USC 1692H. If you knew better, you do better. You take this and use this in court. You can use it for many things if you know how to use it. I'm giving it to you right now. Multiple debts. Look what it says here. These people are crazy. Any consumer owe multiple debts and make a single payment, any single payment, to any debt collector with respect to such debt. Such debt collector may not apply such payment to any debt which is disputed by the consumer, and where applicable shall apply such payment in accordance with the consumer direction. In the end.
Wow.
And that's your UCC addendum, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And as you can see, you check here, 13, financial statement, real estate records, and you put your name and your mortgage address here. Because what it says in 15, if you read, it says name and address of a record owner or real estate described in item 16. Okay, so you put the name and address. The real estate in item 16, which is over here that you're going to describe, is going to be your mortgage address, your block lot, or your warehouse receipt MLS number. It falls under real estate. Number 14, you're going to check fixture filings. So it's perfected. All right, congratulations. You guys know how to fill out the UCC1 and an addendum. Okay?
Much gratitude.
Now, you know how to fill out the UC1 and addendum. Let's go to the last UCC that you would need. It's called the additional party. Now, if you have multiple debtors that you're hitting at the more than one time, you want to get the additional party because it's the only it's one of the documents dealing with the UCC1 where you can assign two assigners. So say if you have 3 assigners that you want to hit at one time, then you can use the UCC1, the addendum, and the additional party, because the additional party gives you space here on 22, as you can see, and in 23. And then you come down here and you kill them if you have the warehouse receipt and you say, excuse me, the holder in due course of the negotiable instrument backed by full faith and credit. The bailee, transfer of ownership by the person of a negotiable instrument, UCC 7-201. Let's go there and see what that is. I can navigate this. 201. Okay. 201. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
The person that may issue a warehouse receipt, storage under bond. That sounds like us. A warehouse receipt may be issued by a warehouse. That means the Secretary of State or the Department of State is considered a warehouse. B, if the goods include distilled spirit or agricultural commodities, are stored under a statute required by bond, are stored under a statute requiring a bond against withdrawal or a license for the issuance of a receipt in the nature of the warehouse receipt, a receipt issued for the goods and deemed to be a warehouse receipt, even if the issue by a person that is the owner of the goods and is not a warehouse. They can argue with you, but they cannot argue with the codes. That's one thing I learned about this process. People argue with you because they got their opinions, but all you have to do is say, let's talk about the codes. The codes will put us in the right direction where we need to be. So UCC 7-201 and UCC 7-102, what 102 say? Let's go. We talking about 7 now because 7 dealing with what? The documented titles. And that's why we're here. We're here because we have a documented title issue. We're here because we want the principal and interest to the assets that's being traded on the market by these companies. Okay, Bailey. Remember I told you on the UCC, check Bailey or Bailer. Why? Look what one say, A1 means a person by a warehouse receipt, bill of lading, or other document of title acknowledges possession of goods and a contracts to deliver them. Who you deliver the goods to? The Division of License Services. Okay? And you read this whole thing, it tells you your position when you do that. Now I'm gonna give you some of y'all some enlightening news. Some of y'all need this information because I know some of y'all been looking like, well, how am I gonna get my warehouse receipt? New York is the only place you can get a warehouse receipt, and we're seeing that. So Mike is going to be taking trips, making trips, and he'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. But he's going to be making trips back to New York and taking warehouse receipts and taking authenticated documents to get them turned into warehouse receipts. Okay? So if anybody interested, I advise you to get with Mike because he's definitely going to be making a trip soon. Now, this one I was on, which one? That's a 3. That's the 1. That's the 1 AP. This one. All right, now we seen under UCC 7 how it talks about the warehouse receipt. And the reason why we want the warehouse receipt because it gives us total ownership of power. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Now, 7 CFR section 869.300 talks about the warehouse receipt. And 8 CCR 1202-11, part 11, commodity warehouse receipt. Your birth certificate is a commodity that have the barcode on it. Anything with a barcode is considered a commodity. If you don't have a barcode, it's still a commodity. The warehouse receipt deposit with the Secretary of State pursuant to 7 USC 250, Federal Warehouse Receipt. Okay, you look that up. The document of title to the warehouse receipt makes the holder in due course the eligible producer. 7 CFR 1421.107 also talks about the warehouse receipt. So as you can see here, the UCC 1, the addendum, and the additional party has covered your situation, whether it's the mortgage, the settlement certificate, or bill pay. If you know how to use it, you could just use this. Okay? Some of you will catch it, some of you won't. Okay, this is the most extensive version of the UCC. Now, this is the 3. The 3, you turn into a commercial tort claim. Okay? I just read to you what a commercial tort claim is. So let's go through and let's read it. This proposal pursuant to UCC 9-102-66. What we're going to look at 9-102-66, a proposal. Okay, what you guys see here? '66. Proposal mean record authenticated. Don't we have authenticated documents? So we want to make proposals in our assignments. And the proposal is made by who? A secure party. Ain't you the secure party in the UCC? Of course. You want to make proposal. Include the terms on which the secure party is willing to accept the collateral. Don't you want to accept for value or accept the collateral in full or partial satisfaction of the obligation is secure pursuant to 9-620, 621, and 622? Yeah. These codes are in there. If you don't see it on this one, it's in the next one. Okay, UCC 9-621, 622, and 623 for the customer account held in the bearer's name by the securities intermediary are to set off and balance the account to 0 for the commodity customer contract. UCC 9-109-12 D12, right? And 9-102-13AB1. This is the possessory lien against a security intermediary pursuant to UCC 9-333. As the holder in due course for the document entitled, the security agreement gives the secure party the right to enforce the obligor to perform over the goods under the commodity customer contract. UCC 9-604, the consumer not responsible for any debt 15 USC 1692B. 2, FDCPA, and have the right for recoupment or set off against the debtor account UCC 9-340, which I read to you. The security intermediary interfere with the consumer credit and leasing pursuant to Title 15 USC 1601, Truth in Lending Act. Therefore, Title 18, Section 8, paid to the order of the United States Department of Treasury, the amount, and you write it in here. And you put the assigner, the company here. Okay? So you shouldn't tell me after tonight you don't know how to fill out a UCC. Any questions?
I got a question.
Any questions? Let's shoot. Come on,
You
Mike.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shoot.
thank you. This was great. The big question I have is, can any of this be done if you haven't done the UCC on the birth certificate, the original UCC? That's the one I'm having the problems with.
You shouldn't have the problem with that no more because you have the UCC. I just showed you now. You can file it now accordingly.
Okay, so all right.
And the only thing you have to do now, if you want to, you can put your birth certificate number in there, but asterisk the first 6 numbers. Don't like leave the last 4 numbers showing, the last 5 numbers showing. What we want to get in the habit of doing is not putting no personal information on the UCC, but the back of the social for your organizational ID number and your birth certificate number, but you want to, like I said, you don't want to show the whole number.
Okay, I mean, I used the template that you had in the code breaker Google Drive.
Yeah, and the other, yeah. So look, I think the one I just did was better.
Okay, all right,
So
thank
you
you.
make the decision. If you like the other ones I did in the code breaker, you could use them. Just tweak it, critique it or whatever, and use it accordingly. But this one right here, I try to make it universal for bill. So if you're not doing a bill pay situation, then you'll put bill pay. You'll take that verbiage out. You go into you edited the UCC that I just showed you according to the way you're going to use it for yourself. Just make sure that you're in the boundaries of the legalese, the language, the codes, and everything should fall in place. So
Okay,
your goal is to file the warehouse receipt, right?
well, I just, I guess, yeah.
Well, that would be you got a warehouse receipt. So now you want to show you got transfer ownership of power on it. So you want to file a security interest on it by perfecting it through a financial statement. So you file a financial statement on the warehouse receipt. The verbiage that you just see me give you is all in there for the warehouse receipt, for the settlement certificate, for mortgages, and et cetera.
Okay, so the security agreement that I have, what do I do with that? Where's that go?
Okay, the security agreement, it shows you that you have a security interest in the asset. So you have to have a security agreement because it's a contract between you as a secure party and your business, which is the straw man, your first, middle, and last name. So
Right.
that's what the security agreement for is to show the transfer from your straw man over to your secure party.
Okay, so
It's showing the transfer. Okay, in other words, the grantor, the straw man, is giving power or transferring his power or his assets over to the secure party. There must be a contract to show that. That's called a security agreement. Within that security agreement is going to show a security interest that you have in the asset that belongs to the grantor, aka the straw.
okay.
Okay.
If I have any questions, I'll let you know. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
You got any questions? Shoot. This is the time you got questions. This is the time people to ask your questions. If not, then that means you understand the UCC, and I explained it to you very clearly, and you know what to do now. Now, again, make sure when it says send acknowledgement for the UCC, you send it to your state treasurer. In New York, his name is Christopher Curtis. All right? In New York, it's Christopher Curtis. Now, in your state, you must find your state treasurer. Again, with the UCC box where it says send acknowledgement to, I recommend you send acknowledgement to the to the treasurer. All right. Now, again, if you're doing the UCC, because you have to do financial statements because you're a bank and all banks have financial statements. So get a book and get a sleeve book and get some sleeve paper and get your financial statements and start putting it in there because you're going to need a book for your financial statements and you need a book for your 1099s. Your financial statements need to be reported. Your assets, you need to report to the bookkeepers. Who are the bookkeepers? The IRS. You can't keep the books. You got to let them keep the books. So if you file a financial statement on the company for a value, that financial statement need to be reported to the IRS. If you report that financial statement and don't report it to the IRS, your process is incomplete.
So is that a physical book that we need?
But
Like when you say book for us to store our statements in,
yes,
what type
yes.
of book is that again?
You go to Staples and get you a loose leaf book and get you some
Oh,
thin,
loose leaf
yeah,
book.
the thin papers where you can make sure your documents don't get damaged and keep all
Right.
your financial statements in them sleeves because you're gonna need them for the show. And then UCC financial numbers, file numbers, they are actually account numbers. People don't know that they are actually account numbers. Okay. Now, one of the things that we're going to start digging into more, and I'm going to get back into because I'm seeing and I'm understanding it more clearly, is the Federal Reserve System. Okay. The Federal Reserve System, I filled out their forms and sent it into the Federal Reserve System, and they called me. But when they called me, I was not ready. This happened in 2018. Okay, now they asked me for a 12-digit. When they called me, I told them that I would like to use my account. So they said, we only deal with banks. I said, financial institutions. I said, okay. I said, I am a financial institution because I understood the straw man was a financial institution. He said, okay, give me your 12-digit account number.
Hmm.
Now, for the life of me, I could not figure out what the hell was the 12-digit account number that he's talking about. But guess what? Today, I have two ideas. When you file your 1099 online, they give you a 12-digit account number. Guess where else you get a 12-digit account number from? Your fencing number. Your fencing number is a 12-digit account number. And it makes sense because the fencing number gives you permission to operate through the Treasury, to pull and withdraw, and to show them that you're not doing any criminal activity, because along with the fencing comes the form fencing 104. And that form is for when you depositing large amounts and withdrawing large amounts from the Treasury. We'll be talking more about that form in our next class, so you guys can start getting on track. If you don't have your fencing number already, you should go get your fencing numbers, because it will definitely. It's a fencing stands for what it stands for? Financial. Well, the CEN stands for Crime Enforcement Network. So you want the Treasury to you want to you register your straw man with them so you can do business accordingly. So if you're paying bills and etc., you got a CAF number and a fence number. It pretty much put you in a position to do what you need to do, take control over the assets. It's your power of attorney, and ensure that you're in compliance. All right. So again, there's other components that's going to go along with your financial statements to strengthen what you're doing. But the financial statement is very important because it's the foundation. Remember, I told you it's the settlement certificate you must create a contract to the settlement certificate, which is the security agreement. Now, when you find your CUSIPs numbers to your assets and you find the value to them, the value to your CUSIPs go inside your security agreement, along with the CUSIPs, because they are securities. So in your security agreement, you have to list your CUSIPs inside your security agreements with the value to them, showing that you have a security interest in these assets. Some of us, such myself, my security agreement is copyrighted by the Library of Congress, so my security agreement is law. So they cannot supersede law, because everything that we're doing business, the branches, the level of government that we're doing business on is the lowest branch of government, which is the executive branch. Congress is the highest branch of government, which is the legislative branch. So I take the contracts because everything is contract. Everything is a tax and everything is a contract. So I take it upon myself to take superiority in the contract by taking it up to the highest level of government, and then come back down and negotiate and do business on the lowest branch of government, which is the level of corporations that deals on the executive branch. So it's your angle and your position on how you come in with this process that's going to give you leverage. So you must understand your position and your angle and how you want to come in this process. You can come in this process. I recommend that you come in this process the way that I explain it, as far as with the contracts and you having the power to do what you need to do. An injunction is another contract that you guys should think about and look into, because the injunction, if you look it up, it says equitable remedy. So your injunction is equitable remedy. It's something else that you can enforce, but it needs to be copyrighted. I would recommend that you copyright the injunction and then file it into the courts, and then use it as a form of weaponry to sue all adversaries who come after you for your property. Okay? Some of us have injunctions, some of us don't. But the injunction is very powerful, very powerful. Okay? So again, the UCC class tonight was basically to get you guys to understand how to fight your adversaries, how to file your financial liens against your adversaries, and putting them in their proper position on the contract as assignors. Okay? It's very important that you understand that. The mortgage company, the car company, the bill company, the assignors. All right? And when you file it like that, you file the language and the verbiage that fits your situation, and you go in and you file it, and then you get your file back. Once you get your file back, you have several things that you need to do with the UCC. One of the most powerful things and one of the most important things you can do with your UCC is file it into the courts, have it recorded. Just tell them you want to record your financial statement. Now, to my surprise, I thought they was going to give me a hard time to record my paperwork when I went to the courts, but they didn't give me no hard time. They just didn't allow me to file and listen to another gentleman, and I knew that I shouldn't be listening to him. But, you know, I was there with someone else assisting another client, but I also brought my paperwork, you know, just, you know, and I did some paperwork for my mother. So I updated my mother paperwork in the system in the courts and helped my client update their estate information in the courts. Now, while I was there, I said, you know what, let me try to file some paperwork with the courts. But what I did wrong was I took my trust and I filed my trust with my paperwork. And the guy came out and talked to me and said, listen, you can't file no trust in the courts. And I knew that. You're not supposed to file your trust in the courts. It's private. It's private. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to file that. You're supposed to file a certificate of trust in the courts. You can do that. But you're not supposed to file your actual trust in the courts. So, but he told me, he said, but if I don't want to listen to him and I still want to put my private document in a public venue, he recommended I file my trust underneath my mother's estate because she already had a file number. So he wouldn't let me create my own file number with my trust document because you can't do that. But he let me know you can record. So when I go back to record this time, it's going to be crazy for them because the documents I'm going to put on place is going to be down by law. There's going to be documents from the Library of Congress for my lordship, my title of nobility, from my affidavit of sovereignty. So whenever they pull up my name, it's going to pop right up in the system. They already know backup. And that's the purpose of why we file these documents, to put them in the system. So whenever there's a problem arise, they back up. Now, if for people who have these situations where they're going through foreclosures and say that you're in foreclosure situation and they dismiss your foreclosure not in your favor, you can go back and open up your foreclosure case through an amendment. And the reason, your reason, the order to show cause would be that there's assets that wasn't accounted for in the original foreclosure. So if the judge dismiss your foreclosure or reverse your foreclosure, you do have a remedy by filing a motion amendment to the foreclosure, and in your motion you state that there's extra assets that wasn't involved in the foreclosure bankruptcy process, and then let the judge do a reconsideration, and you should get your paperwork granted. And then you go back in there and start your case all over again if you have that situation. All right. So I'm gonna be talking more about that to people who have these foreclosure matters. Now, we have some wins. We had some couple of wins this week. We had someone, with two people discharge their mortgages through court, and we had one person who just got a tax return off of the tax process for $350,000 from the paperwork I did for them. And I'm just waiting for some more paperwork to come in. I am going to do a 1099 class soon. And this 1099 class is going to, like the UCC class, is going to be very vivid, and it's going to show you how to properly file these 1099s. Because that's what we are handicapped. A lot of us are handicapped in the process. Filing the UCCs and the 1099s. Okay? So That's going to come up soon. And the reason why the 1099 is important because, again, it coincides with the financial statement because it's a transcript to your financial statement. If you're banking, they want to see what you're banking on. So when your transcript show the proceeds and the proceeds show that what it says on the UCC, everything, and the Treasury got a copy of that, everything isn't falling in place. And now you're almost at the point to where you could be funded and do what you need to do. So I'm excited because we're starting to see things come in for people that's dealing with their process and everything I've been saying as far as with the paperwork. I'm starting to now see more of the results come in the receipts. And trust, I got copies of my receipts. I got to black everybody's name out, of course, but I got copies of my receipts. So I want everybody to know that this process is working, to stay focused and stay on the path. A lot of you guys are in different groups. You get confused and you think you get lost. You don't understand what's going on. Well, I am showing you in the codes, not from something I'm saying, something I'm showing you in black and white, something you go read yourself. And then at your level of understanding, you take your time and you study until you get it. Now, let me just show you something real quick before I shut out this meeting. I'm going to show you what warehouse receipt is, and it's important. Again, I didn't see no other state that had a warehouse receipt department, just like there's no other state that has an authentication department, but Virginia. So when we send our document, or every state send their documents to Virginia to get it authenticated. I believe, and I'm almost 100% sure, everyone must come and send to New York to have their to get their warehouse receipt, to get their license stamp. I don't know no other state. I haven't seen nobody successfully get their documents stamped in any other state. All right, so everyone keep that in mind. New York is the only place you can get your warehouse receipt. All right, now, remember you heard it here. Let me show you something with this. Now, let me punch up this real quick and let's see what we see. Because I like, this is where you don't have to argue with nobody. You could just say, you could just tell them what you got to tell them, and then if they sit there and don't believe you, you could just tell them, look it up. They know how to read, they shall achieve. So we're going to look at this warehouse receipt. I'm going to take there you go, warehouse receipt. Look what Investorspedia say. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
A warehouse receipt is the type of documentation used in future markets to guarantee the quantity and quality of a particular commodity, which is your settlement certificates, being stored within an approved facility, the Secretary of State. The warehouse receipt are important because it serves proof that the commodity is in the warehouse and that the proper documentation has been verified. The warehouse receipt also during the financial process is to verify the quality of the pledge, collateralized inventory. All right? So I want you to see this. Now let me show you something else. This is Investopedia. Right? Let's see what Wikipedia say. A warehouse receipt is a document that proves proof of ownership of the commodity. Do everybody see that?
I see it.
That are stored in a warehouse vault depository. A depository. The Secretary of State is a depository for safekeeping. This is why it's important for you to turn them back into her to get the warehouse receipt so you can have proof of ownership over the commodity. Now, if you take your mortgage and get it back by full faith and credit, get it authenticated like you do your settlement certificate, and then you turn your mortgage into a warehouse receipt, what do you think happens? Game over, ladies and gentlemen, game over. It's right here. The warehouse receipt may be negotiable or non-negotiable. Negotiable warehouse receipts allow transfer of ownership that of a commodity without having to deliver the physical commodity. See delivery order. Most warehouse receipts are issued in negotiable form, making them eligible as collateral for loans. A non-negotiable warehouse receipt must be endorsed upon transfer. In the United States, warehouse receipts are generally regulated by Article 7. I can't make this up. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see it say it right here? Our issue is governed by Article 7. And 8 and 9 is going to help us solve it. This is why I'm telling you UCC 7, 8, 9 is so important. 3 talks about negotiable instrument. 4 talks about banking. 5 talks about the letter of credit. I get that. And them codes do apply to us in certain situations. But 7, 8, and 9 is very powerful in what we're doing. Okay? So as it says, UCC code, as adopted by various jurisdictions, the warehouse receipt also guarantee the existence and availability of the commodity of a particular quantity, type, and quality in the named storage facility. It may also show transfer of ownership for immediate delivery or for delivery at the future date, rather than delivery at the actual commodity. The negotiable warehouse receipt are used to settle expiring future contracts. So you don't need the actual, you can send a copy of it. The warehouse receipt may also indicate ownership of inventory, goods, and unfurnished goods stored in a warehouse by a manufacturer or distributor. Bailment, a relationship in common law where the owners transfer physical possession of personal property, chattel, for a time, but retains ownership. The owner who surrenders custody of a property is called the bailor. Your straw man or your grantor straw is the bailor. Owner who surrenders custody of property is called the bailor. And the individual who accepts the property is called what? The bailee. So in the UCC, you check bailor or bailee once you got the warehouse receipt. It's as simple as that. Game over. Enough is enough. Nobody talking about this, no, but the code breaker. If they start talking about it now, because you guys passed the information on to somebody. But now you know. Now you know. The bailee is the person who possesses the personal property in trust. For the owner, for a set of time, for a precise reason, and who delivers the property back to the owner when they have accomplished the purpose that was initially intended. This is why I tell you to put your MLS numbers in your trust. Your MLS numbers is the serial number to your warehouse receipt. This is public information. So when I was telling you guys, this is not something I'm making up. Now you know. You know you must create that trust. You know you must put that MLS number in that trust. You know you must get that warehouse receipt. You know you must have a bailment agreement and the UCC to show that you have a security interest in the contract of the warehouse receipt, the settlement certificate. It all comes together. But you got to understand this process in order for it to work. I can give you a bunch of documents, but if you don't know how to use the documents, then it's like a gun. It's like a loaded gun that you don't know how to use. So again, personal property in the trust for the owner for a set of time and for a precise reason, and who delivers the property back to the owner when they have accomplished the purpose that was initially intended. Anybody that got 10 warehouse receipts, wow. Mike has got somebody 10 warehouse receipts. Now, a bailment is distinguished from a contract of sale or a gift property. as it only involved the transfers of possession and not its ownership. To create a bailment, the bailee must both intend to possess and actually physical possesses the bailable, chattable. For example, a car mechanic business when a car has been dropped off for repair. Although a bailment relationship is ordinarily created by contract, there are circumstances where the lawful possession of the bailee creates a bailment relationship without an ordinary contract, such as involuntary bailment. A bailment relationship between the bailer and the bailee is generally less formal than a fiduciary relationship. In addition, unlike a lease, a rental, or where ownership remains with the lessor or the lessee is allowed to use the property, the bailee is generally not entitled to use of the property while it's in his possession. However, a lease or personal property is the same of a bailment for hire, where the bailee gains the right to use the property. So the contract must be in place for you to have the right to use the property. That's why I tell you to download the bailment agreement. Do everyone have the bailment agreement in this group? Al, you have the bailment agreement?
I don't.
I
Okay.
don't.
You're,
I
sister,
don't either.
I don't.
sister, you can put the bailment agreement in the chat group for them, please, if you got it. A common example of a bailment is leaving one's car with a valet. Leaving a car in the unattended parking garage, however, is typically a lease or license of a parking space rather than a bailment, as the garage does not take possession of, exercise dominion or control over the car. However, the bailment arises in many other situations, including terminating leases of property, warehousing, including store of yourself, or carriage of goods. So again, this is something that you can go into and you can go deep down the rabbit hole because again, we started out with warehouse receipts and then we went into bailment. By going down here, you can press delivery order, you can press title, you can press document or automation, and it would give you what it is in public record. That means the lawyers know this. We went to Investopedia and Wikipedia. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an encyclopedia. this information is out here. So it's just all about how we put this information down and we get to the bottom of it. So again, your authenticated documents hold weight because it's backed by full faith and credit, Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution. Every state must follow. But your warehouse receipt gives you proof of ownership of the commodity. If the commodity is a mortgage or a birth certificate or a settlement certificate, you become the entitlement holder in due course with proof of ownership by way of receipt. Okay? So with that being said, I hope everyone got a clarification on the class tonight and able to understand this and teach people properly what's really going on. Yes. Yeah. Well, the first class is available. I'm trying to see how I'm gonna do it, but I will have the first class along with the second class available once I edit it, and then I'll let everyone know. But I've pretty much tonight covered a lot of the information in the first class, so people wouldn't be too far left off. So those that was in the first class will tell you that. So you didn't really miss too much. Information, probably the style and format, because I had someone reading the codes in the first class out while I was calling them out. Versus this time I was actually able to show you the codes. So, you know, the Zoom is kind of better because I'm not able to switch in between the screens like that with the other app. When this app, Zoom, I was able to switch in the screens. And in my app, I got to stop sharing, go back in, and sometimes it's time consuming. So this class is kind of better, you know, for the yeah, yeah. This, you know, this was kind of, it was much more better. And gratitude to sister because she came in with the emergency link because we was all sounding like robots in the last link. So we made it happen. I knew, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let nothing stop me and let it stop tonight. I'm still gonna come with this information because I know, you know, people ready, they need this heat and they want to move forward. So yeah, and I thank everyone, you know, tonight for showing up and pretty much. So now I want to say this: the next class we have, I'll make the announcement. Of course, it'll be a $50 fee, but I don't think I will be doing that, you know, soon. I will be putting together a nice presentation like I did this one for the UCC for the next class. Meanwhile, we'll be having a free class that, you know, that's normally Thursdays at 6 o'clock. So if you have time, make time for yourself so you can come and get the information and move forward. All right, make time for yourself so you come and get the information and move forward. Those of you in New York will have in New Jersey and have authenticated documents, you need to get with me because you need to you need to turn these documents to warehouse receipts so you can start moving forward and doing what you have to do. Okay. Now I'm not sure yet what's the next class going to be, but I know I have to get this 1099 class to you guys, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the next class. All right. But I have to get to, if it's not the next class, it'll be the class after next. So I haven't decided that yet. But we're going to get this. I'm going to get this information to you guys. By the time 90 days into the year, you guys should have the information you need, far as when it comes to putting together your contracts, filing your financial statements, and doing your 1099 taxes. Now, we're going to have a whole nother program and a whole nother story and topic on state taxes and how that works, estate tax waivers and things like that. So down the rabbit hole we go. Al has given me a warehouse receipt address, address, a place that we can send our warehouse receipts to in the Treasury. Pretty interesting, mind blowing. I'm overlooking it right now. I found some other things attached to it, and I'll definitely be bringing that information to the platform once I finish doing my homework. But from that information he gave me, I was able to find several other things. I found the actual place where they tell you to send your bills to, the Treasury. I see that, Joe. I said, oh my God, it says it right here. So I'll be showing that probably in the next class or so. But we're gonna definitely get down to the bottom of this because we here. We got everything we need. You know what I'm saying? Only thing we need to do is get our contracts together and execute them, send them into them, and wait for the feedback. That's the level we on right now. All right?
Thanks,
So,
Asaf.
Lord, I had a question.
shoot, sister. No problem, sister. How you doing,
All
Bobby?
right, heck, I'm doing well. How's everybody?
Good, good. Who said they had a
Good.
question?
Me, Nakisha, I am having a issue understanding exactly what you mean by sending in the warehouse receipt. So, from my understanding, like me from being from Pennsylvania, we send our birth certificates to Virginia, and then after we get it from Virginia, you're saying to do the UCC statement and then send it to New York as well.
Yeah, I'm saying you can do once you get it from Virginia, you got to take it to the Secretary of State in New York, the Division of License Services, and turn it in.
Okay.
You got to endorse the back of it and turn it in, and they're going to give you a copy of it back. They're going to keep the original. They're supposed to keep the original, give you a copy back, and because you know for their records, and then you have your receipt. That's your receipt because you turned it in and they stamped it and gave you a copy back. So that's your receipt.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what you got to do. So,
Yeah, make sure you got 2 authenticated ones because they're going to take one of them.
yeah, well, I'll tell 2. I'll tell people
Yeah.
get 4.
Mm-hmm.
Get 4.
Warehouse receipts as you can. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get you take 4, but you know the one you give to them, you make a copy of that one, front, back, all the documents. So once you give it to them, you ain't gonna get it no more. You got a copy of the original, but your warehouse receipt is what's most important because now once you got your warehouse receipt, again, it's proof of ownership. And you can see it says in the public record, Wikipedia, Investopedia, it's proof of ownership. It's nothing more. There's no more to argue about. See, people they want to make you do all this stuff. Listen, you ain't got to do all that stuff. You just do what I'm showing you. Listen, you get your documents authenticated, turn into a warehouse receipt, and then go back in the court and raise the issue. So they'll fight you with an authenticated document. It's backed by full firm credit. They'll still try to fight you, but they can't fight no warehouse receipt. Not on no affidavit.
Tracking.
Checkmate.
Yes. Gratitude. Thank you.
You're welcome, sister. Any other questions?
One question for me.
Sure.
Actually, I would like to get my documents recorded with the Library of Congress. Are we gonna have a class for that?
Yes. That's what I'm battling on now. Because I do the copyright class or the 1099 class, but I gotta release the information. So it's coming.
Gratitude.
I'll keep you posted.
I got something.
Mhm.
Just so everybody knows, Lord Ausar has already said this, but I'm going to say it. This is Mike speaking. I've done this whole thing with the warehouse receipt a couple of times. And, you know, I'm in Arizona. I will be flying to Albany somewhere around the end of February. So, you know, if you want me to do that for you, you know, I'm not gonna charge you an arm and a leg, but I'm gonna be saving you a day and probably close to, $1,000. You know, is what it's probably gonna
Yeah.
cost.
If you coming from another state, you're gonna travel, you're gonna pay for that and all that. So you gotta take that in consideration. But the warehouse receipt is so powerful and you need it. That's
I
all I can
won't
say.
leave until I got it. You know, I mean, I've heard of recently people going there and they say, "Oh, we don't do that anymore," and they
Yeah.
leave. You know, I ain't doing that. You
Yeah.
know, I'm staying there until I get it.
They already tried to do that twice with him Mike already. But Mike went there with 30. How many you had? 30, Mike?
I had like it was like close to like it was around 20. You know, it was
Okay.
2 of mine and like 18 or 20 of the other dudes. You know.
Yeah. So that goes to show you that you can take somebody else's and get it done. So don't let
Yeah.
nobody tell you nothing different. Okay.
There's a reason. Get with you on that, Mike.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm definitely get with you.
Okay, man. I look forward to working with any one of you people, you know. So
Yeah, we're going to get it going. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we just want everybody to get their UCCs in because we have a lot to do. You got to set up your post office trust fund account and we got to get ready to go in these courts. We did our assets.
I wanted to ask you real quick. Can we do that with apostilles as well?
Apostilles is different. You know, you have a different angle you can come in with apostille because you have federal documents that has apostille cover letters. You must file them apostilles in the federal jurisdiction so you can take control over the security. But apostle means that under the jurisdiction of the United States. See, they mess with my mic again.
I'm gonna just do another one.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, I'm here. Who is?
Is it the state treasurer? Is it the birth treasurer or is it the domicile treasurer?
Say that again.
Is it the birth treasurer or the domicile treasurer?
I don't understand what you're saying. I can't.
Interjection. There's too many mics open.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying.
Some of you guys mute, please.
Can you Can you let me know if it's a birth treasurer or the domicile treasurer?
You said the first treasurer?
No, the birth treasurer.
The birth treasurer?
Where you were
The
born.
domicile.
The birth treasurer or the domicile treasurer.
He asked me, is it the birth treasurer or the domicile treasurer?
You said to go to the treasurer of the state. Are you talking about the birth treasurer or the state treasurer? That's from where you're domiciled.
I don't. He messed me up with that. I don't know what he's talking about. What do you mean, birth treasurer or state
What's on the
treasurer?
birth certificate? Or
If the treasurer that's on the birth certificate. I'm sorry, I understand what you're saying. What he asking.
The acknowledgement to the UCC, the acknowledgement. The treasurer. I'm asking, is it the birth state treasurer or is it the domicile treasurer?
I never heard no domicile treasurer.
If I'm born in Pennsylvania, but I moved to Texas, it's asking where would I send it? Would I send it to Pennsylvania or to
You
Texas?
send what you send what?
The UCC, remember you said that you have to
Follow UCC in your state that you in, and you follow UCC in the state that you in, and follow UCC in the state that the company in if you're doing it against a company. If you follow UCC in your birth certificate, you can follow UCC in the state you're in, and you can follow UCC in the state that you were born.
Thanks.
That's what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah. You can follow UCC in the state that you're born, and follow UCC in the state you're in, because you've been in, especially if you've been in that state for many years. I don't know, for some reason the mic is acting up now because it's feeding back, but yeah.
See, the UCC, it doesn't matter what state, it's a federal form, commercially federal. It doesn't matter what state you follow it in.
It kind of do. It kind of do in a way because, well, you can follow in a universal state like Maryland, right? Maryland cover all the states, but say if you got a company, like, see, a lot of these companies do interstate contracts, right? So like a lot of our mortgage companies, they don't even be in the same state you in. So because of that, you got to follow UCC on the state that the mortgage company is from, and then you got to follow UCC in the state that you in. So that's two UCC that I recommend that you file. You know what I'm saying? So in certain cases, you do have to follow UCC. It does matter where you follow UCC because it's a jurisdiction thing. And they can say, well, he ain't followed right because I ain't got the jury. Like a judge will tell you, if you bring a UCC, or say for example, you in Philadelphia, and you bring a UCC from California in there, the judge will tell you he don't got jurisdiction over that. So just be careful with that. All right. So just make sure everybody just get their Bellman agreements together, get their UCCs together. The Bellman agreement is after you have a warehouse receipt. You don't need a Bellman agreement if you don't have no warehouse receipt. All right. If you have the warehouse receipt, you need a Bellman agreement and a purchase receipt. The purchase receipt is going to show that your straw man sold it. The straw man sold it to the secure party. We'll talk about that setup because I'm gonna start showing you packages now, so you guys can start putting your package together because that's what it is. You know what I mean? I know a lot of you need help, so I'm going to start doing a system to show you how to put your packages together, and then you can go ahead and send them off to where you need to send them off to. At this time, all my packages are done. I'm just sending them off, waiting for the feedback, so I keep everyone posted. Okay? Any other questions before we shut this class down?
Yes, who's gonna send out the Bellman agreement?
Sister Empress, you got that? You got a copy of it?
I don't think so, but
Al, you got a copy of it? Al,
Yes, I do.
can you put it in the chat group?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you can put it in WhatsApp because a lot of them people ain't ready anyway. They run around doing all type of stuff, so they ain't even got no. They ain't gonna have no use for it until they catch on and start going through the process. But you just go ahead and drop it in the chat group, and because we know ones with warehouse receipts, we know what a bailment agreement is. And again, everybody work on trips to go to the Secretary of State in New York to get your warehouse receipt. If you have a problem like a mortgage, and you know QSIPs reports with worth value and things like that, you know, and bonds that you created or for your documents, you could turn them into warehouse receipts. Financial statements, you could also get authenticated. If you look at the birth certificate form, it gives you a list of documents that you can get authenticated from security agreements and all type of stuff. I recommend that you look at that list, start sending them documents in based on a list, and then turn them documents into warehouse receipts. I just gave you the game and everything you need. And now, only thing left is for you to hire me for assistance if you need it. But if you can do it yourself, you have the information. Okay? So I thank everyone for coming to this class tonight. Once again, this is not legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. Okay? And as a business consultant, I'm just here to try to help others. Thank you all for coming.
Recording stopped.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
all
you
they're
all for
doing is
coming.
one page.
Say that again?
No, which I had a question. This is Madam. We just came from the office to get something authenticated. What the guy told me is that you can only get one page authenticated or apostille. Cannot be anything that was attached to it.
What state you in?
Illinois.
Yeah. That's how you move down. Like, y'all get your birth certificate, y'all get it with a seal.
Yep.
Yeah, so you don't need to do nothing. You already got it sealed. You just got to send it to the Secretary of State. We don't have seals on our birth. We don't raise seals on our birth certificate. We got to certain process in New York.
No, I'm referring to like the security agreement, or even if you have several pages for your UCC. There's only one page that can be used for that authentication, from my understanding, from the clerk that was there.
Oh, that must be only in Chicago. In New York, we can do whatever we want. We have 10 pages and we put impossible. We get the notary letter, and then we get the letter from the Department of State, and then we send it to Virginia to get it authenticated.
Right, I know it's one each. That's because it's a seal on each one of them. But when I was trying to do something in there just now, it had to be only one of those pages, basically the one that had the notary on there.
It depends on what you're trying to do. But because if you're trying to apostille something, it's usually like the birth certificate or something. Like if you try to apostille a bill or something, or a contract. Well, you can apostille a contract like security agreements, power attorneys, affidavits. I did that. There was more than one page.
Right, it was a security agreement.
I think that's the Illinois thing, because I know in Pennsylvania when I took my documents and it was about 32 pages, and they would have done it. Problem was that I had already entered it into a court system, and she said that I would have to go to that court system because it was actually in Georgia versus Pennsylvania. Yeah. But other than that, she would have gladly.
Yeah, that's just in the state of Chicago. That's not everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's just like the jurisdiction again. It's just a jurisdiction. You know what I mean? If that's a jurisdiction, they got different rules. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to understand that. Everything is similar, but it's different in different states.
Well, but I was asking that question because it's not already able to have it. That could have been why they didn't.
Somebody might got crazy feedback. Yes, sister.
Yes, sister.
But
But
that's the situation.
that's the
But this is
situation.
like that's just your personal situation because the state you're in.
All right, duly noted.
All right. Now again,
Now again,
I'm gonna be put some things on the chat group so everybody stand by. It's gonna be pertaining to the Library of Congress or the 1099, and it's another process I'll be talking about. So I'll put that out there and we'll take it from there. So like I said, I hope everyone now can move forward because they know how to fill out UCCs now, moving forward. All right. So again, thank you for the class, and I'll talk to you guys. Coco Savage, who is that?
Thank you, bro.
Who is Coco Savage? If that name just came up on the screen.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Same to you. Who is Coco Savage?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Who's this?
Hey, this is Nikesha.
Oh, you the one Coco Savage?
That's the Zoom name.
For the name. This is crazy. All right, sister, take care. Or call me tomorrow. We're supposed to talk tomorrow, right?
No, but I do need to set up a meeting anyway.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right.
all right.
All right. See you.
All right. Peace of light.
Peace, love, and light.
Peace, peace, peace.